Everyone has a moment in life when everything changes. For me, that moment came on a day that looked just like any other. The sun was out. Birds were singing. I was walking down the same road I had walked many times before. But I had no idea that this day would change my life forever. Let me take you back to the beginning. I grew up in a small town. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other. My family was not rich. My father worked as a mechanic, and my mother stayed at home. We had enough food, clothes, and love. But we didn't have extra money for nice things. I was always grateful for what we had. I was an average student. Not too smart, not too weak. I liked to draw, and sometimes I would sit for hours with a pencil in my hand, sketching pictures of trees, houses, and people. But my parents didn't think art was useful. You can't earn money by drawing, my father used to say. Study hard, get a real job. So I listened to them. I stopped drawing and focused on my studies. Years passed. I finished school, then college. I got a job in an office. It paid well, and I wore a suit every day. I thought I was successful. But deep inside, I felt empty. Every morning, I woke up with a heavy heart. I drank tea, got ready, and went to work. But I didn't smile much. I didn't laugh much. I felt like a robot, doing the same thing every day. One day, I looked in the mirror and asked myself, is this the life you wanted? The answer was no. I had lost something. My dreams, my passion, everything I loved as a child was gone. But I didn't know what to do. Then one day, something strange happened. I was sitting on a bus, going home from work. Next to me was an old man. He looked kind, with white hair and a soft smile. He looked at me and said, "You look tired, my friend." I nodded. Yes. It's been a long day. He smiled again. Sometimes, long days are not about work. They are about the heart. I didn't understand at first. But then he said, "Tell me, what did you love doing when you were a child?" I was surprised by the question. "I used to love drawing," I said. "But I don't do it anymore." The old man looked at me deeply. "Then go back to it. You still have time. Don't wait until it's too late." Before I could ask more, he got off the bus and disappeared into the crowd. That night, I couldn't sleep. His words kept ringing in my ears. The next day, I found my old sketchbook in a dusty box under my bed. It had drawings I had made when I was a boy. Tears came to my eyes. I picked up a pencil and started drawing again. It felt so natural, like breathing. I smiled for the first time in weeks. Hours passed without me noticing. From that day, I made a promise. I would draw every night, even after work. Just a few minutes. Just for me. One day, I started sharing my drawings online. At first, no one noticed. Then, slowly, people started liking my work. They left kind comments. Some said my art made them smile. One person even said, your drawing helped me feel less alone. I was shocked. My small art had touched someone else's heart. That gave me more energy. I created a small blog where I shared my sketches and stories from my life. People started following me. They shared their own dreams with me too. My wall of sadness slowly turned into a wall of dreams. Months passed. I kept drawing every day. My heart felt lighter. My face started smiling more. People at work noticed the change in me. They asked me what had happened. I just said, I started doing what I love. But inside, a new thought was growing. What if I could do this full time? What if I left my job and became an artist? It was a big decision. I was scared. What if I failed? What if no one liked my work anymore? I thought about my parents. What would they say? Would they be proud or angry? But I also thought about the old man on the bus. His words were still in my heart. Don't wait until it's too late. I knew what I had to do. One Friday evening, I walked into my boss's office. I want to resign, I said. He was shocked. Why? I want to follow my dream. I want to become an artist. He smiled sadly. That's brave. Most people never do it. That was the last day of my old life. The next morning, I woke up with no office to go to, no suit to wear. Just a blank paper in front of me. And a pencil in my hand. I was free. But freedom felt scary too. I had some savings, but not much. I started drawing every day. I opened an online shop to sell my art. At first, no one bought anything. Days passed. Then weeks. I started to feel nervous. What if this was a mistake? One night, I sat alone and cried. I felt like giving up. But then I remembered something. Why did I start? Not for money. Not for fame. I started because drawing made me happy. So I picked up my pencil again and drew, not for anyone else, but for me. One morning, I woke up and checked my email. There was a message. Hi, I love your art. I want to buy one for my daughter's birthday. I couldn't believe my eyes. My first order. It wasn't much, just a small drawing for $10. But it felt like $1 million to me. I danced around the room. I called my mother. She was happy too. Maybe this will work, I told myself. That one small order gave me hope. And from there, things slowly started to grow. People started sharing my drawings on social media. More orders came in, 1, then 2, then 10. I created calendars with my art. Then notebooks. Then wall posters. I also taught a few online art classes for beginners. I was not rich, but I was happy, and I was proud. My drawings were now in homes of people from many countries. Some sent me photos of my art on their walls. Some wrote messages like, "Your drawing gave me hope. I smile every time I see your sketch. You inspired me to start painting again." I cried when I read those. Because now, I was not only changing my own life, I was touching the lives of others. One day, my parents came to visit me in the city. My small apartment was full of art supplies and colorful drawings. At first, my father was quiet. He looked around the room. Then he picked up one of my drawings, a sketch of a child flying in the sky, holding a balloon. He stared at it for a long time. Then he said, "You were born to do this." That was the first time he had ever said those words. I hugged him. I felt 10 years of fear leave my body. My mother smiled and said, "We're proud of you, son." One evening, I got an email from a girl named Rita. She wrote, "I was going through a very hard time. I felt lost. One day, I saw your drawing online. It was of a girl looking at the stars. I don't know why, but it made me feel hope. I started drawing again. Thank you for reminding me who I am." Tears filled my eyes again. I replied, "Thank you for telling me. You reminded me why I started this journey." Years passed. My small art business became bigger. I now had a small team of 2 people helping me. We created online courses for kids and young artists. I spoke at schools about following your dreams. One day, I sat down and thought, what if I open a free art school for poor kids? So they can dream too. I started planning. I saved money. I looked for places. And after 1 year, I opened a small art center in my hometown. We gave free classes. We gave kids pencils, paints, and paper. The children smiled. They laughed. They painted their hearts out. And every time I saw them, I saw myself in their eyes. One evening, after many years, I was on a bus again. The same kind of bus from that day long ago. A young man sat next to me. He looked tired. I looked at him and said, "You look tired, my friend." He smiled a little. "Yeah. Long day at work." I nodded and asked, "What did you love doing when you were a child?" He looked surprised. "I used to write poems," he said softly. "But I don't anymore." I smiled. "Maybe it's time to write again." He looked at me for a while, then smiled wider. And at that moment, I knew, the circle was complete. Today, I live a simple life, but a full one. I still draw every day. I still teach. I still make mistakes. I still grow. But I am happy. Here's what I learned. Don't let fear stop you from doing what you love. Your passion is not a waste of time, it is your gift. The world needs your art, your voice, your story. It's never too late to start again. One small step can change everything. I'm not a famous person. But I'm proud of my journey. And maybe, just maybe, my story will help you start yours.